Hey, today we're going to be working on comparing fractions. For our first section, it's asking us to color in the grid to show the fractions below. Each grid represents one whole. So each one of these mats represents one whole, and each one of these mats has 100 units within each mat. So how we represent the fraction, we're going to look at A. It's asking us to represent 1/2 or 1/2. The way that we do that is the bottom number, which is the denominator, is going to tell us how many equal parts I need to break up my mat into. In order to break up my mat into 2 equal parts, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break my mat in half, just like this. Now it's telling me to shade in one part of those 2 parts. So I'm going to shade in this part of the mat. If we look at B, you can see the same thing. The bottom number of the denominator is telling us how many parts, equal parts, I'm going to break my mat into, 4 equal parts. The top number, which is the numerator, is going to tell us how many parts are we shading in. Each of these parts is worth 1/4, which is the same as the fraction here on the left. And I'm only going to shade in one of those parts because my numerator is a 1. Now I want you to try the rest on your own. For section 2, what it's asking us is to use the pictures above to help complete each comparison below using less than, greater than, or equal to. Now I'm going to use the answers that I got from A, B, C, D, and E to help me understand the problems in section 2. So for the example, you can see 1/2 is greater than 3/10. Now when I think of 1/2, 1/2 fills in half of this mat. Now what I need to do is figure out what 3/10 is, and 3/10 is less than 1/2. And I use that information to determine which one is greater than, less than, or equal to. So if we do A is asking us to compare 6/4 and 1 1/2. 6/4 is represented in E. So I'm going to take what I get from E and compare it to 1 1/2. 1 is a whole number. A whole number means we're taking one of these mats that we see here and we're completely filling it in. That's one whole mat. And then we're going to fill in half a mat as we did in problem A. And then we're going to compare that to 6/4 and see what we get. So that's for section 2. For section 3, it's asking us to add these fractions. You want to think about money to help. So like we've gone over in class, we have 1/2 plus 1/4. Now, when we think of a half is equal to a $half. And a $half is equal to 50 cents. Now, when we convert that into a decimal, it's 0.50. 1/4 is equal to a quarter. And a quarter is equal to 25 cents. And 25 cents is equal to 0.25. So what I'm actually going to add is 0.50 plus 0.25. And now what that gives me is, if I add these two numbers together, it's 0.75. But since our equation's in fractions, our answer needs to be in fractions. So we have to convert the 0.75 into a fraction. Now, when we think about fractions, what coin can we use in order to get 75 cents? I know that if I have 3/4, that's going to give me 75 cents. And 3/4 out of 4/4 gives me 75 cents, or 0.75. Because I know a quarter, 1/4, as we see here, is 1/4. So 3/4 is 3/4. Now I want you to try the rest on your own. Now for part 4, the question is asking us, Francisco and his mother bought some fruit yesterday. They bought 2.5 pounds of peaches, 7/10 pounds of raspberries, and 1 1/4 pounds of apricots. How many pounds of fruit did they buy in all? Show all your work. So we have 3 measurements. We have 2 1/2, 7/10, and then 1 1/4. Now what's going to help me in this situation is converting these fractions into decimals. So I know that 1/2 is equal to 0.50 from the problem before. I know 1/4 is equal to 0.25. And now I just need to figure out what 7/10 is. I know that 1/10 is equal to 0.10 or 0.10 because it's a dime. So then 7/10 must be equal to 0.70 because I have 7 0.10s. Now I'm going to add all of these together, but I cannot forget my whole numbers. So I need to add my whole numbers, and then I need to add my decimals. Now remember, when you complete 100 on a decimal, that means you have a whole. So once you pass 100, so if we add 50 and 70, that is 1.20. And then add the rest. For problem number 5, it's asking us to write 3 fractions, addition problems, in which the fractions have different denominators and the sum is 1. So all you have to do is write fraction problems with different denominators. Here you see a 2 and a 4, and then figure out how you can get those fractions to equal 1. So if you know 1/2 is equal to 50 cents, and 2/4 is 2/4, which is also equal to 50 cents. 50 cents plus 50 cents gives us $1. Or 1. Now come up with 3 addition problems that all equal to 1, and that they all have different denominators. For number 6, fill in the missing numerators and denominators to make each comparison true. So here you're going to be looking for equivalent fractions. So when we're filling in the missing numerators, we need to make sure that if the symbol in the middle is saying that the first fraction is greater than, that we create a fraction that's greater than 4/2. Here in B, it's asking us, how can we make 1 1/4 equal to 1? And we're going to add a numerator here that will equal to 1/4. And then here we have to make sure that 16/32 is less than the fraction that we create with the numerator over 8. Hope you all get some good practice with this homework. And if you have questions, please bring them to class tomorrow.